Hello, everyone, and welcome to Best of Six. I'm your host, Jake. Joining me, as always, is Bejules and LeBron. Um, I don't know. I tried.
Don't do that again.
So we got. I don't know why Discord isn't showing up. Well, that's no matter. It's just the three of us this week, and you can probably tell us apart, so it's fine.
Best of six divided by two.
Yeah, that sounds kind of sad.
You didn't remind me to change.
It doesn't matter. We're not. The Discord icons aren't even visible. So for some odd reason, that's not working. So GG. Streamlabs sucks. First news topic of the week. We got a lot of news topics for you guys this week, so we're gonna jump right in. Epic Game Store accused of being spyware. Tim Sweeney says they'll fix it. Fix it. Fix it.
Yeah, he hit him with the "we got caught" to do something.
Yeah, more like we'll, stop making it spyware. So basically what's going on here is the Epic Games Store appears to be basically stealing analytics data from Steam. Like it goes into the Steam program files and it grabs some statistics that Steam keeps around about like playtime and games that you're playing and stuff like that. And sends them to Epic.
Yeah, that's
pretty
invasive.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's like they're literally, and they're like, oh, we'll fix it, but like if they've been doing this on everyone who's installed the Epic Store so far, that's a ton of data already. They got a lot of information out of it. And like, oh, we'll fix it, and basically they just got a bunch of data that most companies would have to pay for free. And, well, for close to free. And now here we are. So, be wary of the Epic Store, alright? It's good.
Well, this is stopping me from uninstalling the Epic Store, so, yeah. There's
I
that.
still have it installed.
Yeah, I still have it installed.
Haven't installed it.
Yeah, Lerone hasn't, he doesn't have the spyware on his machine. Well, joke's on Epic, my Steam library is really boring, so.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of Steam games to begin with, so.
What?
It's gonna be like, oh, hey, look at all these Steam VR games that they literally can't sell.
You should get more humble.
I didn't have a gaming PC for a while, and I'm more of a console gamer, honestly.
Casual.
Casual.
Well, speaking of casuals, let's get to our main news topic. We're gonna jump right in here.
Okay.
Google's Stadia streaming service coming in 2019. So we've been sort of covering this a little bit on the podcast, on and off so far. But now Google has finally lifted the curtain on this Stadia streaming service, and they've made some pretty bold claims with it. And a lot of questionable things were said, and a lot of mumbo-jumbo was thrown out. So, oh man, where do we even begin with this? This is...
You first.
So, Lerone and I saw this live.
Yeah.
When we first saw this, we were like, "Oh man, this is it. Google's gonna like change the future of gaming. This is what the future's gonna look like." And then now that well, at least me, now that I've sat on it, I'm like, there's a lot of problems with this.
Yeah. So I also watched the keynote. I didn't watch it live, but I went in spoiler free like a couple hours later, and
the first thing the CEO opens up with is that, "Hey guys, I'm not a gamer.
Okay,
I play FIFA."
I mean that's whatever. He's the CEO. He's not even the director of this project.
Has different branches. Like, come on.
Yeah. Do you think the CEO of Google has time to play video games? No.
Probably.
He's a busy guy. But there's a couple of interesting things, and I have a lot of questions. It left me with more questions than answers in a lot of ways. First of all, let's talk about their offerings. So basically, they're going to have these servers in the cloud. They dropped that they're going to be running AMD GPUs with, and they said at 10.4 teraflops, which means next to nothing. I actually have no idea what that means. So take
it's a
that
good
as
number.
you will.
Well, they compared the teraflops to PS4 Pro and the Xbox
Yeah.
One X.
Here's
And
the
they're like,
here's the
well,
thing about that measurement is for GPUs measuring it in teraflops makes very little sense unless you say measure what you're measuring. Because you see, GPUs usually have multiple different compute modes: single precision floating point, double precision floating point, and half precision floating point. And those are all very different measurements. For example, I'm just gonna so Google said 10 teraflops, right? So let's look at NVIDIA's one of their latest GPUs, the 2080 Ti, right? If you look at its processing power in teraflops, with single precision floating points, it is 11 teraflops, which is more powerful than the Google thing. But double precision, 0.3 teraflops. And half precision, 23.5 teraflops. I can only assume Google was measuring in single precision.
They compared it to PS4.
Yeah, they did compare it to PS4 and Xbox. So
Presume it would be whatever
whatever
whatever the advertisement measurement they use.
Probably something like that. It's still just, I don't know, trying to compare teraflops in between GPUs. It just doesn't make any sense.
well, I mean,
They show a number that's bigger than the other two.
Yeah, that's all they did.
to the normie, right?
And also, by the way, it should be clear that isn't they're like, oh, this is a decked out game. It's really not. I mean, like I just said, the 2080 the NVIDIA 2080 Ti is already more powerful than it by at least 15% than the number that they.
Remember the Xbox One X reveal when they talked about 6 teraflops, highest quality bits?
Yeah.
It's just that.
And they're like, oh, 4K gaming, 60 FPS. Well, the 2080 Ti, even then, it struggles with 4K gaming, like, reliably.
There's no way they're gonna pull off 4K gaming at 60 FPS on a streaming service. Like, I actually don't think that's possible, even for Google on like crapper like Wi-Fi. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Wi-Fi, hopeless. Google conveniently left out a lot of stuff, like, what kind of devices would be able to handle those kind of resolutions.
Well, they claim that any device would be the same across any device.
Yeah, I can play Odyssey on.
Yeah, any device, sure, but any connection.
Yeah, they didn't talk about that.
They didn't talk about that, because that's the biggest crux of this whole thing, which kind of gets into the fundamental things. All right, what are gamers?
Wait, now that we're talking about it, how much data is this going to use?
A lot. Oh yeah, do it. You better.
If I'm on my LTE, like, I'm just going to hit the cap.
Yeah,
You're
like
gonna get the
immediately.
cap, yeah.
Yeah. And people might have problems on broadband internet connections too, because most people have data caps for their home internet connection as well. They're usually pretty high, but if all of a sudden, your 10 hours of offline gaming a week all of a sudden turn into 10 hours of 4K 60 FPS game streaming, well, that's going to chew through data fast. Quite fast. And, okay, I just want to... So here's the problems that I foresee with this. And the things... When Google claims this is for gamers, this is why I don't believe them. One, they're really talking about 1080p 60 FPS, 4K 60 FPS. But in reality, what trends really are in gaming and game development is, one, not 4K, because it's decidedly not worth it right now, because just most GPUs just cannot push 4K at a reliable frame rate, and the monitors and such are expensive. And instead are opting for 1080p or 1440p higher refresh rate monitors. So instead of 60 FPS, having like 90 or 120 or 144 FPS, which is like like most people will say that like 1440p at a high refresh rate is way better of a gaming experience than 4K 60 FPS. And I bet part of the reason why that offering is missing is because it's a technical challenge. Like 60 FPS and keeping that consistent over the wire is probably hard enough. The difference between 1080p and 4K in this regard aren't that significant. It's just a matter of more data, but the latency isn't a problem. But a 90 or 100 FPS latency probably starts getting in the way, which is a good segue into latency. That's another thing that a lot of people get is super low like response time monitors. You know, a lot of gaming monitors advertise millisecond, sub 10 millisecond response time, sub 5 millisecond response time. This is hopeless for latency.
There's no way, like, there's gonna be lag. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what Google says, like come on.
Made it.
Oh, what
Whoa.
up, Mitch? You're just in time to hear us tear apart Stadia.
You still here?
Hello?
Hello.
You said Stadia?
Stadia, Google's streaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What? Yeah, I watched that video, and I don't actually know what it is. It was great. Like Wii U all over again, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Their presentation was pretty brutal. It's very aspirational.
I thought the presentation was good. It's just they didn't. I think they're giving enough a lot of false promises.
Yeah. There's some other weird things, like the Stadia controller, right? So they said that the exact thing they said was weird. They're like, the controller doesn't connect to your computer. It connects via Wi-Fi to have better access to Google servers, which, like...
Yeah.
The controller?
Yeah, the controller.
Yeah.
Why does the controller need to get to Google servers?
Because
Google
the games run in the cloud. Basically, instead of running games on your computer, Google has a bunch of servers. The game runs on the server and pipes you a video feed in real time. That's the idea.
Okay.
Also, a bit of a
Sound-
sidetrack.
That
DVX.
sounds like a decade into, 100 years in the future.
I mean, we have the technology to do what Google is describing right now. Though,
Yeah, but
I'm arguing that it's not going to be
Done
a
well.
premium experience. Which is kind of getting back to the whole thing. This isn't really meant for gamers. Like, it's meant for
Casuals.
not just casual though. It's a little bit of two things. One, it's for people who want to be like gamers and play all the latest titles and stuff at high graphical fidelity and whatever, and don't have a good enough PC or can't afford a console or whatever. This is great for that kind of thing.
Is this expensive?
Though I question if those same
idea.
people are the ones who have baller internet connections that are going to be able to work well with this. That is a question to be had here. And we got sidetracked, but the controller connects via Wi-Fi to. It's a little confusing to me.
I'm confused by it. Also,
Like, Google is almost claiming that the latency inserted by your PC is like gonna be the bottleneck, like the latency bottleneck. And that's just misleading. The bottleneck is the round trip, because one, the Stadia controller inputs have to get converted into like packets to be sent over the internet, then make their way to Google servers, then get processed by Google servers, processed by the game, and then piped back to your screen and then displayed by your screen. I do not think that your PC having to process the input of the controller is a major bottleneck and all that. I think the real reason why the Stadia controller can connect via Wi-Fi directly is so that way you can use the controller with things that wouldn't support that controller, like the Google TV plug-in thing. What's that thing called? The Chromecast? Because the Chromecast doesn't have controller inputs. that's why this controller connects via Wi-Fi. It's just weird to me that they're trying to be like, this is for lower latency, better for gamers, but in reality, I don't think that's what it's all about. And I mean, all the coolest features of the service, there's definitely a lot of great things that cloud platforms for games can offer, right? And they talked about that, like someone on YouTube, they play a game and you can just hit like a play this game right now button, and all of a sudden, assuming you're subscribed to this service, which they conveniently left out that step in all this, but you can just start playing that game.
Not only that, but you can join someone who's streaming YouTube Live.
Yeah, though that one kind of weirded me out. They act like that's something that's not currently possible, but like there are these things called lobbies.
Yeah, but now you can't just push a button and just join. Now.
Yeah, that's true. You probably can't. Though even then, that's actually really up to the game developers more than anything. Game developers could definitely do this. Like, you can do this with local games. Like, the games being in the cloud has nothing to do with this queue thing. It's just a feature that they're going to be offering on day one that game developers just didn't think of or don't have. It's cool, but something that if it becomes a really popular feature, it will come to non-cloud gaming quickly. Because once the games implement it for Stadia, it's not that far of a stretch to be able to implement it for the non-Stadia users. But like I think the cooler stuff is like the cloud save, like the state sharing thing. Again, this is actually something that could be done locally, though admittingly it's more difficult. It can be done on consoles right now without too much of an issue. Like legitimately. It's more convenient in Stadia because it works in your web browser that you're already using to look at this kind of stuff. And also state sharing is not actually new. There are games that have done this. I can't come up with any examples off the top of my head, but there was some game that was popular for speedrunning a while back that basically had state sharing things, and people would do speedrunning challenges, kind of like what they talked about in Stadia. Wonder where they got the idea. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to say
You
here.
forgot the best feature.
What's the best feature?
You're playing a game and you're like, man, what do I do? And you'll go on, you'll literally call up an expert. You show a picture of where you are in the game, and they'll tell you what to do.
I don't remember them talking about that.
Wow, and literally in the example, it was like Tomb Raider, and this guy took a picture and sent it, and they just basically posted a YouTube video of a guide on how to beat that part. It basically just, here, dumbass, we'll Google it for you. And that was that's what it was.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that was in the presentation.
I'm just waiting for people to start trolling.
I watched the presentation at double speed, so.
You also missed the developers that they're partnering with.
Yeah, there are some good developers, including Unreal and Unity.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, it's basically going to be a first-class console. It's got a bunch of third-party supporters.
And we already know Google's good at making games. Like they made that one with the dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they brought that up in the presentation.
I think one of the biggest questions here really is price. Because if they get the price low enough.
How low is low enough?
Like $6.
I would have to think about that. Well, it also depends on how they do it. Because the question is it going to be a subscription model where you subscribe to Google Stadia and their whole library is available? And will it? And if it's that, do you have like different tiers, like a 1080p tier, a 4K tier, something like that?
Yeah, there's probably gonna be like tiers.
And like also they talked about like some games could run on dual GPU instead of single GPU, but will those be more expensive? Will you have to like get another tier like to allow it to unlock the dual GPU games that they talked about?
Nah, they're not doing that.
Or is it game by game? In which case they're like, oh, you see a YouTuber playing a game and you just click play and you start playing it is a little bit misleading.
If it's game by game, what's the point?
If it's game by game, I mean,
Why wouldn't I just do what I already do?
Because you don't have a computer.
because you don't have a gaming PC. This is, I told you, this isn't for us. This is not for us.
I feel like it's best for a streamer.
Maybe?
You just click some chat's like, hey, play a game. You just click it.
Yeah, if it really is that open, like a subscription service,
And
and
if
you
it's
can just start
multiplayer,
clicking
they
start,
join too. Easy.
and start playing any game, then that's pretty cool. But
I feel like it appeals to streamers.
at that point, it's also just still kind of a novelty. Like, for variety streamers, that's great.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I'm saying.
but, like, if, like, you want to, like, grab a game on there that you're planning on playing for, like, a while, longer term,
Okay, no.
it'll almost certainly be better, 9 times out of 10, to just download it and play it on... Also, streamers usually have PCs that are, like, powerful enough to run these games, and might be more picky about latency and input lag and things like that if they play games a lot.
Most streamers play Fortnite now, and latency is a
Okay,
problem with Fortnite.
not everyone plays Fortnite.
And
I mean, a lot of them-
is latency a problem with Fortnite? Because
yeah,
if-
shouldn't it? You have to be precise with your like.
yeah, but that means latency is a problem, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is a problem.
Yeah, but I'm saying like playing it over Stadia, they would they'd probably find that as an unacceptable experience.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. I mixed up words or something. We good. So I don't know. I have my reservations on Stadia. I have my doubts.
As Steve mentioned,
I don't
in
think it's the
chat,
future here now.
They also have a first-party game studio, so they might have exclusives.
I mean, how
They're
does
gonna-
DLC work for a streaming service? It depends on their model. If their model is just subscription based, it means DLC is free DLC. Cool.
Unless it's not.
Yeah, and also there's a question of how does microtransactions work? Do they just not allow microtransactions on the platform, or maybe they do? And even then, it's really
Yeah, you think I'm gonna get microtransactions for a game I don't technically own? The fuck?
Well, if you up your subscription, you get $5
I
a
mean,
month. And
that's-
microtrans.
I mean, that's kind of like microtransactions in any online game, right? They could
Well,
just
yeah, the
take
server could go down.
they could just take the servers down and you just lose it all
like the Wii.
instantly. I mean, games that are like mostly online. Thanks for the 1-bit, Grizzly Steve.
Yeah, but microtransactions in single-player games are the future.
Well, we will be talking about Epic in a bit, Steve. Just you wait. We've got more stuff to say about them.
I have more stuff to say about Stadia.
Like?
Drop it. Let's hear it.
They have some developer tools for developers. Like different,
Good. The platform would be unusable if they didn't.
Yeah, I gotta get someone on board.
Yeah, so like you can change the graphic style of your game by just clicking.
Oh yeah, that deep learning stuff. That
Yeah,
was one of the
super.
coolest things they showed off in the presentation. Basically a thing for doing like artistic styling in games using deep neural networks to basically like you give it like some image like, hey, I want to copy the style of Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, and now your whole game is in that style, and it kind of applies it. They've shown that off before, not in games, but in like animation, and like that's actually a tool that you can use for with still images for free. Google just has that tool out there, and you can just use it. So this is just that applied to video games, and in video games you have like 3D mapping and more information, so it's even better at it because it can map it onto 3D plane. So that's neat. I'm not sure I'm so convinced that it's actually going to be used to any significant degree anytime soon, because it definitely looks like it's pretty rough around the edges in the demos they showed. It's really cool and really impressive, but playing a game with the kind of styles that they showed for the whole game would probably get nauseating, as it doesn't understand context very well. Like, you notice, like, when a character turns or whatever, they move, all of a sudden their texture, like, totally morphs and changes because they don't see it as one cohesive object rotating. They see it as like a new piece of the scene. And I mean, it's neat. A neat demo. Really cool demo, actually. But before we actually see it being used in games, especially like for the whole game, like I could see them using it for like some rooms or some like little areas of the game for some cool factor. But
And you walk through a wall.
I'm
and
sounding
so
really
you end up
negative
in a
about
dev
this.
room and
I'm sounding really negative about this, aren't I?
I mean,
I wouldn't say negative, more like critical. Like you're pretty much saying you really do want to see it, but you just don't think it's possible currently. So I wouldn't say negative, just critical. Because if you're negative, you'd be like, "This is a dumb idea. Why are they doing this? They should spend their time making another Dark Souls."
Yeah. Also, this is also another like technical nitpicky detail, but they showed. I'm actually surprised that they showed specs as detailed as they did. Sort of surprising, but they did, and they showed off the CPU is a hyper-threaded 2.7 gigahertz CPU, and that doesn't make very much sense for gaming performance. Very strange.
Well, you
decision.
don't need a gaming computer to play it. Clearly,
It's just that's the kind of processor specs you expect to see in a console. Not.
well, there you go.
It seems like they're just emulating a little bit more powerful of a console in the cloud. But like one of the bigger bottlenecks of like high like 4K game setups and stuff or not. I guess this isn't really about for 4K gaming. This kind of stuff is good. This is bad for high refresh rate gaming, which kind of tells me that they have no intentions of supporting it on this platform. Like high refresh rate gaming, your bottleneck is going to start being the CPU, and a 2.7 gigahertz CPU isn't going to do it for AAA titles in 2019. It's for higher than 60 FPS gaming, which is
Attention, gamers.
it kind of just comes back around to this isn't actually made for gamers. This is made for people who aren't into it, who aren't. It's meant for couch console gamers, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm definitely kind of a couch console gamer.
It's kind of weird though, because like
It says
Steam
it's made
tried
for
that
everyone. Yeah.
Steam tried that so many times. Like you remember the Steam box?
Yeah.
And how well that did.
Yeah.
remember online?
OnLive still exists.
It does.
Pretty sure they still exist, yeah. And like, I mean, if anyone's gonna be able to get the streaming part of this thing and the latency and stuff down, Google is a great candidate, and it'll be interesting to see it.
Is there any other company that can even do this?
Amazon,
Netflix probably.
It's like Amazon, Google,
Netflix, maybe, yeah, Netflix.
maybe Apple.
I mean, Netflix did run
Apple,
into their
no, Apple's not equipped for this right now. Anyway, I mean, they have the capital to make that happen, but they don't. They currently don't have the infrastructure for it.
I mean, Netflix did run into the problem where they were like, oh, the infrastructure from Comcast or whatever isn't good enough for a lot of people to stream our services, and Comcast is what said, oh, why don't you buy it? Why don't you build it? Well, yeah, fuck you guys. So they might run into that problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, their goal is to, basically your only jump is supposed to be you to ISP to Google and back. It doesn't go through the outer internet.
Oh yeah, they have their own private network. Right. They did say that.
Yeah, I mean, that's already true of all of Google's services. That's nothing new. Which is why, even if your internet's kind of shitty, most of Google stuff will still be pretty fast. Your internet sucks ass, but then you go to google.com, you do a search, and it's instant.
Huh.
And and that's true for Google, Amazon, any Microsoft, any of these companies that have this big data warehouses and such. A lot of them aren't on. You don't have to go through as many hoops to get to them, because they are the hoops that others go through. Especially
I'm the
Amazon.
one who knocks.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. So, I am excited to see where the future of this. I know we talked about this for forever, so if anyone else has any final thoughts, well, I'm sure we'll cover this as it continues to evolve.
When do you think it's gonna drop? They said 2019.
2019 Q3. Let's say Q3. That's my goal. That's my prediction.
I guess before Christmas. I don't know. Q4. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Price range.
I think it'll be out next
Oh
week.
yeah, I really wonder about price. I think they're probably gonna. It's probably gonna be real cheap to start. I bet they'll sell it at like break even or like at a loss at first to get people on the platform.
And they'll include a Blu-ray player.
So, you know what? Here, this is the last quick poll. What for this service? Let's assume that the latency and stuff is acceptable. What are you willing to pay for it? We'll assume that it's a subscription.
ask you that.
It's a subscription model, and you just every game that's on it. We'll assume it's got a pretty decent library.
What am I willing to pay, or what should it be?
How
What do you
about somewhere in between maybe?
Steve says
I'd
15 a
probably-
month.
Yikes!
15 a
That's
month.
a joke.
I
That's
think
a
it-
joke.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I think at most I'd probably pay 30 a month because that's kind of a average what I pay for games.
There's no way it's gonna be 30 a month.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
What do you think it's gonna be?
Like
60?
Probably 50 or 60 a
100?
month.
100 a month?
Yeah, no, I think
how big is this library gonna be?
I'm gonna guess $30. $30 a month was gonna be my for the 1080p tier. I think
They're all-
I think that'll be separate from the 4K tier, and I think the 4K tier will probably be 40 or 50.
There are a lot of people who buy 2 full price games a month just because they have the time.
It's 120.
Yeah.
Also, this is really weird. Stadia will support 4K FPS, but if you don't have a 4K TV, it's fine if you like do the thing where you record it to YouTube. It'll still be 4K on your YouTube upload, even though you didn't play it at 4K.
That's kind of funny.
Isn't that? Yeah. 'cause
Which
it's-
which actually that sort of suggests that maybe there won't be tiers. Everything is just on the 4K tier. In fact, it probably wouldn't be. The more I think about it, wouldn't be tiers for 1080p and 4K because there's only one type of server, and like one person is going to take up a whole server either way.
It isn't.
So the
device
cost is
intensive.
really the server, and
Why would they do it?
so yeah, it probably won't actually be separated by 1080p and 4K. Though there is bandwidth costs. I mean, it's 4 times the data for 4K. So
Why would the display device matter if it isn't device intensive? Like it's, it's.
well, yeah, but if your screen can't display 4K, it won't bother sending
Oh.
4K to your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. When they're talking about device here, I'm thinking they're talking about your screen. Also, sending 4K to like a phone or something makes no sense.
When they were talking, they were like 4K, 60 FPS on all devices, including phone.
Yep.
$60 a month if it has new games. Yeah, I mean Google's gonna push this hard, and they have the capital and the resources. I mean, like Google walks up to any developer and there's like, hey, you want to be on our new platform that will basically let everyone play like whatever titles they want from anywhere in the world without like restrictions from countries for consoles and like having to buy hardware and all those barriers to entry removed. Basically, like, hey, we want to we can basically pretend the whole world is mobile phone gaming for your game. You win.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, and it'll just be like, will it be a good experience for the average person who doesn't have a Google Fiber internet connection? I'm
What?
so curious. I mean, I'm so skeptical.
The way you just said that, it's a mobile game, but for like, everyone can play it. I feel like this might take off with like the casual.
If they have indeed figured out all the technical challenges, And I mean, yeah, the average person's internet connection. Now, like, I'm sure it'll be smart, and like if your internet connection is slowing down, it'll lower the resolution, like a YouTube video would. They have experience with this kind of thing. But that's a rough experience for gaming. Like, oh man, it really is. Stadia should let you download games.
What would be the point?
So, because you can play it on the cloud or locally. Like, if you're at home on your gaming PC, you can play the games, locally. But then it's the save and stuff still in the cloud. So then when you're out and about, you can whip out your Switch or something, connect to Stadia, and play on the go.
Like like an offline.
Yeah, that would sell me on this.
Okay.
That would be the for gamers way of doing this, but that's not going to happen. And
They might do it.
I mean, also, like, you'd have to be running Linux or something, or a Linux virtual machine, and that's a whole mess. But all right, we talked about this to death.
No, this is like the big news story.
It is the big news story. A lot bigger than the Nindies. Yeah, the biggest announcements here are Cuphead. And yeah.
Cuphead and
Crypt
Cadence
of
of
the
Hyrule.
Necrodancer?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Crypt of the Necrodancer X Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I don't care about any
No, that
of these other
sounds
games.
sick.
Yeah. Yeah, Cadence
So-
of Hyrule. Which
So I'm probably gonna play Cuphead.
This isn't the world
oh, this is actually the first I've actually looked at the Crypt of the Necrodancer Legend of Zelda thing.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy it?
Oh man.
Rip
Oh
all
man,
your-
I might sheep
Wow, I was like,
So it was right. Get
sheep
right.
out for this.
Jake. I was like, yo, why isn't Jake like?
What? That's fraud.
I'm not losing my mind, all right? It just looks pretty good.
Jake, like,
Hey, you're on stream. You're just composing yourself.
It looks interesting. I
Uh-huh.
probably won't be able to play it though, cause hands. So GG. Probably won't end up actually getting
How them Joy-Cons make you feel?
Joy-Cons. I mean, fine, not attached to anything. It's better.
Oh, you're good.
Do you have to use Joy-Cons?
Isn't it a Switch game? I mean,
I
you
mean,
can use the
I
Pro
have
controller,
Pro
but why
controller.
would you do that?
Or a GameCube controller?
This is about arrows. Why would I use anything else?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, anything else really to talk about?
do we care about any of these other games?
I-
Apparently, the audio died too.
I don't even know what else.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's back. I don't even know what else was in the thing. I didn't watch it. I just know Cadence,
Same.
and that looked like fire.
Yeah, I mean, I scrolled through the list here. I don't know. I've never heard of any of these other games. So,
I only know Cuphead and
oh, my friend Pedro, that game looks awful.
what is that?
That's the Bananas game.
Okay.
It's
What
it's
do you
a
do?
it's,
Do you wobble people?
I shouldn't have laughed.
you're like, I don't know.
This game.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know what this is.
It's like this overly violent, bloody shooter, and there's but there's banana stuff involved. It's your friend's a
Banana.
banana named Pedro or something.
Didn't Devolver Digital share this? Am I thinking of another game?
It might have been. It might have been something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this before. I don't remember where I saw it. It was at E3 or something. So yeah, but Cuphead coming to Switch. That's cool.
I already
Another game that I
played
want to
that.
play.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if you can play that with your hand situations.
Okay,
No.
now Joy. I don't know if I want to play this with Joy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's probably better on keyboard.
With the control. Oh,
Controller?
keyboard.
Ew,
Good
keyboard,
controller,
hello.
Yeah, keyboard for sure.
Ew.
No, what?
Yeah. Cuphead will kill
Um,
you. Yeah,
is
you'd
this
be
going
surprised.
with the- Is this going with the DLC for Cuphead?
You can hold to fire. Cuphead shouldn't be that bad.
It's all those twitchy movements though. Keyboard is
Yeah.
garbage. Nah, keyboard's fine.
No, it isn't.
Not for this game.
Not for this game.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a bullet hell. Keyboards are good with bullet hells.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
a
well,
lot
It's a
of games
platformer.
there's platforming too.
Yeah, it's a platformer, but it's also kind of a bullet hell.
Kind.
Kind of, it is.
Yeah, they're literal ship levels.
Yeah, Steve
Perfect
has
for keyboard.
Steve has first-hand experience. He tried with keyboard and he wanted to die.
Played
so-
it with keyboard. Yeah, it's because
I don't think I ever tried with keyboard, so I don't know.
I mean, keyboard is my preferred controller for those kind of games. So
Huh?
you can like change directions more quickly, and like really twitchy and quick. I can't do that as good with the stick. But anyway,
I'm not seeing it.
Epic locks down more store exclusives, including Obsidian's The Outer Worlds Remedy's Control.
Can I get a got him in the chat?
Got him.
Got him.
Oh hey, Control. That's one of the games that we'll be talking about that again later. We will.
I guess
I guess
PC
I'm
gaming
right.
won't be saved until 2020.
Well, I'll probably. I guess I'll won't be buying The Outer Worlds on Steam. I'll get it on the other platform then.
Got him.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for people who pre-ordered it on Steam. Just kind of got the middle finger, but
Oh, it was on selling on Steam?
It was on Steam, yeah.
Oh,
The Outer Worlds was on Steam first.
Steam must be getting pretty mad about that. Like, oh, we're just using us for free advertisement, huh?
Good. It'll make Steam change.
maybe
some
they'll
things.
update their terms to be like, if you ditch us, then you gotta pay.
Okay, that's a good way to just get people to not get on the platform.
Hey,
That's basically like, please go to Epic.
nah.
All we care about is money. Fuck you.
Steve changed his mind in the chat. First, he was okay with this. Now are you gonna? I wonder if he's boycotting the Outer World. Like he did
Yeah,
with Epic.
he was like, oh, Outer Worlds is fine as long as it was on Epic to begin with. But nope, lol, it was on Steam first. So it's the same as the other Metro Exodus.
Metro Exodus. Yeah, he's boycotting.
Yeah.
GG.
He says he can't. Oh, he says he can't.
He
Oh, he
can't
can't
boycott.
Oh. Okay.
I'm right there with you, Steve. I have to play the game. I wasn't planning on getting it at launch, so whatever.
Yeah, this is Fallout 4, but actually good, right?
Yeah,
Fallout 4,
Pretty
but
much.
good.
Fallout 4 was fine. It's very much underrated.
I heard it was meh.
Yeah, it's meh.
I got bored and never finished it. So, Yeah.
So.
I mean, it has a lot going for it. It's just they dropped. the
Yeah,
ball on a lot of the RPG elements.
Epic, still bringing on the fire and Steam changing nothing. So maybe this is another big release getting taken right out from under Steam's heels. So maybe Steam will change something.
Maybe they'll
Maybe.
be like, if you put your game on the Epic Store, you'll never get support from Steam ever again.
Well, that's
Yeah.
big.
And you know what? Since we just talked about it, let's dive real quick into
That'd be funny.
into ray tracing. So,
Oh,
NVIDIA talked about at GDC about ray tracing some more, the feature exclusive to their RTX lineup of cards, or it was. They announced that they will be bringing ray tracing to the GeForce 10 and 16 series GPUs that have been out for 3 years, or 2.5 years. And that's a kind of a big middle finger to people who bought RTX cards for ray tracing, huh? That was all of their advertising for these cards. They didn't talk about the new performance so much. They, whatever. They're like, ray tracing, only possible on NVIDIA RTX cards. And now they're going to be like, nah, in a driver update, we're just going to turn RTX on for other older GPUs.
Okay, so
That's a, whew.
what you told me about ray tracing, it just seems like one of those buzzwords that companies throw out to entice you to buy their product.
I mean,
Go ahead.
okay, ray tracing is a rendering technique, for those who don't know, for lighting. It's only about lighting. And like in traditional games, light rays basically travel until they hit something and then they stop. But in the real world, light rays reflect off of things and bounce around. So ray tracing is basically like,
You don't know
not
that.
only does light hit an object, it'll bounce off that object and, cast light onto other things. Now, the thing that makes it kind of buzzwordy is, well, game developers and game engines have been faking ray tracing like effects for years. And and as a result, real-time ray tracing in video games doesn't always add all that much extra to it. It makes some stuff look better, but it's not super significant. Keep in mind, the real-time ray tracing is pretty limited. Like, it is far from, like, full-fledged ray tracing. And, like, an example where you see full-fledged ray tracing, if you're wondering, is, like, if you've seen a Pixar movie or, like, a Disney 3D animated movie where the animation and the lighting looks incredible, it's because it's all ray trace rendered. But the problem is that ray tracing is really computationally expensive. It takes a long time to do. So, yeah, anyway, NVIDIA selling these RTX cards is right in the name, RTX instead of GTX, ray tracing. Right in the name. Turns out they're just going to turn it on for some of their older GPUs. And people who bought RTX cards for ray tracing are a little bit upset by this. Supposedly that the GTX cards won't be offering the full-fledged RTX experience that but they will still be offering some ray tracing capabilities. So that's something. And with that, they announced a couple of new games that will a couple of games that will now be getting ray tracing. Which, I mean, it went from, there were 2 whole games, now there are 5 whole games that have ray tracing. They promised 30 by November, on pace. 30 by November of last year, by the way. They're at 5.
2016?
2018. And,
What's
yeah.
a year?
You okay there, Mitch? So anyway, some of the games that will finally get ray tracing are Rise of the Tomb Raider, Control, that we talked about before, and the one no one saw coming, Quake 2. Yes, that's right, Quake 2, now with ray tracing support.
Am I a
Why?
joke to you?
I have no idea why Quake 2 has it. The lighting looks better than ever before.
Hey, that does
Motherfucking
look pretty good.
Quake 2. Yeah, it makes the 1997 game look a lot better.
That does not look like a 1997 game.
Yeah. And to be fair, this is the kind of game where... So here's the whole thing. Does this game look... It shows you that, like, ray tracing applied to games that did, like, no fancy effects to fake ray tracing. It looks... like, way better. Major upgrade. But games that do fake it really well, less of an upgrade. Far more subtle. Very scene-specific. It's like Stadia. It is the future, but the future is not now. And also, now Unity will be... natively supporting RTX. Unreal Engine is no. So, yeah, that's it. That's it, really. How exciting! The game engine supporting a new graphical feature in graphics cards. Big shocker. And they take shots at Unreal Engine, but Unreal Engine will almost certainly have ray tracing in it in some time. So, cool. And the last news topic here is the Oculus Rift S was announced. There's also a new HTC Vive headset announced as well. I think the Oculus Rift S is a little more interesting. One, it's more expensive than the Rift. So this is...
It must be good.
might be met with a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, buy me VR.
Because it's weird, because it's more expensive, but it is less equipment than before. Because before, the big upgrade here is that instead of having sensors that you have to, like, set up in your room, the sensors are in the headset only. and they can do tracking without any external help. They have cameras on them that can basically, look at the floor and look at the walls and stuff and just figure out how you're moving around in 3D space. Super cool stuff. It's used on the Rift Quest as well. It's awesome technology. HoloLens does this as well. Inside-out tracking is the future. Really cool. It's what's called inside-out tracking.
Okay.
The device does its own tracking. So theoretically, if you had a long enough cable, your play area could be pretty massive. Like your whole, first floor of your house. Probably not, because that would be an obnoxious cable to drag around. But wireless VR headsets might be coming in the near future. So stay tuned for that. I mean, other than the ones that are standalone like the Quest. But I mean like PC, full-featured VR headsets that are wireless capable. There are some beta products that are around that do it already. That some of them work pretty decently, from what I've heard. So.
We were just talking about latency. Wouldn't that be an issue? Wireless?
No. If done right, wireless is actually theoretically faster than wired because the speed of light is faster than the speed of electrons through a wire. So. It's more about processing, but as long as you can get processing time low, which is usually just a matter of throwing powerful enough hardware at it, then I'm not saying it's going to be cheap. All the products that exist right now are like almost as expensive as the headsets. The price will come down, but you might have to be willing to spend like $200. So yeah, but anyway, the Oculus Rift S is kind of interesting. A little bit. It's got the sensing cameras. It's got a slight boost in resolution, so more pixels per eye, which is always cool. And yeah, the new controllers, which are pretty similar to the old controllers, but more like the Quest controllers. I think they look kind of dumb, but it's cool. It's cool. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this. This is kind of underwhelming. And
You're the VR guy.
yeah, and the price. It's more because of the price. Also, there's one really strange thing. The refresh rate is now 80 hertz instead of 90 hertz. That's a weird downgrade. Whereas, like, other VR headsets are looking to up the refresh rate to make it even smoother. So it's a higher refresh rate than the Quest, but lower than the Rift. So that's a bit weird. It might have something to do with the The Quest is 72 hertz. Yeah. I mean, Google Cardboard is 60 hertz, so. Yeah, that's pretty rough, though.
Is Google Cardboard still a thing?
I mean,
You trying to give me a headache?
yeah, I'm worried about that lower refresh rate. I'm assuming they've done a lot of testing, so it's probably like good enough where it doesn't cause any like headaches or like motion sickness. But I do wonder if it's, if it'll be noticeable going from 90 hertz to 80 hertz. Like, will it seem stuttery to someone who's used to the higher refresh rate? Yeah, it's to be seen.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I was just scrolling through the article to see if there was anything else I wanted to say. But the higher resolution is, I think, going to be the biggest deal. And less screen door effect is what they're saying, which is probably one of people's biggest complaints with, like, the Rift, is the screen door effect. For those who have used it, they kind of know what I'm talking about, I think.
Nope.
Looking for you guys to agree. Okay, no one's noticed that.
What was the question?
The screen door, if you've ever noticed the screen door effect when using, like, an Oculus Rift or a Vive headset.
Using an Oculus, gotcha.
What is that?
Like, you can kind of
Do I look like I'm
see
new
the
money?
space between the pixels a little bit, especially if you're looking at something that's like a really static screen, that isn't moving around much. You can see the gap between the pixels,
Do I look
called
like
the
I'm
screen
new
door
money?
effect.
I never noticed that.
Not everyone does. I don't know. That was the first thing I noticed when I put on the headset the first time, and it like kind of bugged me. Now I don't really notice it so much anymore, but I was like, oh damn, this isn't as smooth as I thought.
Future.
Okay, it's time to go into Axiom Verge, guys. That was a
What's that?
ton of news.
I never got a chance to play it.
You never played it, okay.
I
So,
wasn't even planning on showing up today.
this
I just
is-
kind of got out of work early.
Yeah, so this is going to be the Lerone and Julian show.
Hi.
So
Wow, that's new.
So Lerone and Julian played. Lerone finished the game. Julian played through most of the game. I only beat the first boss. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this out there right now. My excuse is that I have issues with my hands, and this game was particularly irritating to my hands. It was just kind of a non-starter for me to play this for any significant amounts of time. I would have had to do it in really brief sessions over a long period of time. It just didn't work out that way. So they should have Hold to Fire in this game.
Yeah,
That would have honestly fixed most of the problems with it. But having to mash the fire button all the time was problematic. So
I too blame life for all of my problems.
screenshots of the game.
Wow, Google. Nice host.
Yeah, I'll put some Axiom Verge screenshots on stream.
Yeah, get it in. Wow.
Care to your audience? This is a podcast. The visuals are just kind of
But he's
a
watching
bonus. A bonus. All right, here we go. I went to google.com and typed in Axiom Verge into image search. So we're just going to, scroll through that. So, Julian Lerone, what do you have to say about this game? Don't have to go too in-depth or anything.
So I think we should break it down based on like different attributes of the game, like story, gameplays.
All right, pick one.
Sure.
All right, so let's go with the most important thing: gameplay. Lerone, you beat the game, so what
I
do you
take
think about
offense to that.
it? What do you mean?
All right, it's a Metroidvania, right?
Okay.
And,
Would you want to explain what
well,
Axiom
first of
Verge is?
all,
Yeah,
Really?
Axiom Verge is a Metroidvania. You're this dude named Trace. You just kind of wake up in this unknown world full of like these monstrous alien creatures, and you have to figure out what's going on.
oh yeah, am I like spoiling this? Because you
Opening?
don't even know what happened.
I mean, I do plan on beating the game, and we do go in. But we do go in like, is this a spoiler like podcast?
Yeah.
The story, they don't need to know the story for this. It's
Yeah.
literally all-
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need to go through the story.
Okay, that's fine.
You can just say your opinions on what you thought of the story.
It was whatever. Anyway, gameplay, the more important thing. So, the problem I have, mostly with this genre, is I feel more like I'm supposed to, instead of like actually thinking, oh, I'm getting attacked, what do I do to not get hit? It's more, how can I make this AI do something stupid so I can just cheese it?
Yeah.
And that's
Definitely
usually how I
into
approach
our-
these kinds of games, and that's my biggest issue.
Well, like the gameplay for Axiom Verge, it isn't, or Metroidvania in general, isn't about like combat per se. It's about like exploration and finding stuff.
Sure, but why not both?
But the only issue I take with that is it is supposed to be about exploration and finding stuff, but they throw enemies at you constantly.
Yeah.
Like for a game that's not supposed to be about combat, you're in combat like 80% of the time.
Yeah,
They're more
usually,
like- it's like
usually,
sets the environment.
yeah, usually any enemy that was like halfway decent in size, you just get stuck on something above you and use the lightning gun and just shoot through. The little zombie things that chase you, if you just stand still, they'll jump over you.
Do you ever use the decoder thing to, on the enemies?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's for some of the ones that
Alright,
you have.
that's
to,
Axiom
like
Verge, everyone.
Like the larva-looking thing that like shoots out the red stuff. That was pretty annoying unless you decode it, and then it'll give you health, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was fine.
I
And then my biggest issue was the final boss. Kind of sucked.
I didn't get to that part yet.
Like maybe I'm just bad, but I don't feel like I could have no damage that at all.
Some of the bosses I feel like I couldn't no damage, like the scorpion one. That gave me.
Well,
not the laser. So I didn't know that thing existed until you told me.
It's just the final boss. It's just kind of there's just kind of stuff getting shot. You kind of.
But anyway, to kind of get
there's
back
something
to
above you to shoot.
gameplay and opinions.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
that's what we're talking about.
Oh, I know, but you're like talking about the scorpion boss. Oh man, that was so hard. But what about it? I mean, I've never played it. Don't know.
There's this giant scorpion thing, and it has an eye that's supposed to open. Well, it has two heart boxes. It's the eye that's not always open, and there's this like little small thing behind it. And I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to hit the part behind it. Except I have this weapon that shoots a bunch of lasers. It doesn't do that much damage, but it's basically a full screen attack. So I just kind of dodge and shoot it, and it worked. And that's how I beat it. I don't know how he beat it without it.
So the scorpion boss,
And the two attacks, it'll shoot like little pellets, and like it'll shoot high or low. So either you duck or you jump, or it'll jump on you, and it can jump pretty far. And those are the main two attacks.
So yeah, I had to just duck high. I mean, I had to duck or just jump over his pellets. But during his final stages, he goes really fast. So like you have to do it really fast, and it was messing me up. So I didn't have the laser, but I eventually beat it after dying dozens of times. So
how did you hit it?
it just I had to mix up my shots. Either I would shoot high or shoot low, and
shoot at what?
I just shot it, and occasionally he would open his eye.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's why I kept complaining about it.
And then as far as exploration, well, first of all, you can only mark two things on the map at a time.
Yeah. I never marked stuff on my map.
I don't know how important that is in these kind of games.
Damn casuals are ruining gaming for the rest of us. You want to put map markers on the go play Skyrim or something.
I mean, if you want me to remember where to go, so when I get a new power, I got to mark it on the map. But you literally only can mark two things
Lateral
at
thinking,
once.
People. Don't you ever not play one of these games in one sitting?
No, it took me 8 hours. That wasn't that bad.
Well, that's your own fault. I don't know why you can't. I don't know why it's so hard to just not beat the whole game in one sitting and understand what powers you're gonna have before you get them.
True.
I mean, the average to beat this game is 2.5 hours. Also, Laurent did it on hard.
Actually, I should have. Well, you talk for a second.
What can I talk about? Actually, I liked in terms of gameplay. I like the different weapons. I guess. The electric
What the
gun.
hell is he
cool.
doing?
I don't know. He's looking up something.
Let's see. Enemies drop 25%. Less.
he's-
Oh, they drop health less often. The amount of health
They
is
do more
less.
damage, right? Because I'm taking half damage. From
Bosses move a quarter faster. Your weapons do 9% damage, and enemies do 10% more. It's basically small. It's not that much different.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, I just suck at this game.
GG.
Yeah, the problem with the exploration is that I basically just have to remember where to go. So I basically just every time I got something new, I just have to go back until I found what I needed to find.
Wandering just works. So get that.
It just works.
But maybe that's what they want, is for you to have to keep getting lost and wander through the world. But the map isn't that big, so
Yeah.
I doubt it.
It just works.
Laurent doesn't even get that reference.
Yeah, I
Or-
did.
What? What is it?
Uh,
Todd Howard?
This is definitely Steve Jobs.
what?
Yeah, he did it first. It just works. That was
There's no
Todd
reason.
Howard did not invent this.
Nor is
Well-
that what we were referencing, but
What were you referencing?
JoJo.
JoJo.
The hell?
It just
Okay, I definitely would have known that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Aren't you caught up in part 5?
Not the most recent episode, if that's what you're referring to.
They haven't. It's a meme once you.
Yeah.
It's not in the show itself, but
It's a meme. Yeah.
Oh, I don't pay attention to any of this stuff. I don't talk to weebs.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
I guess you haven't seen the most recent one,
I have not seen the most recent episode. No.
but you've seen Crimson King.
King
Yeah.
Crimson.
Well, Todd Howard
it-
definitely.
Anyway.
said so, you know why.
Yeah,
Instead
we're
of
going
trying
off
to
track.
explain his power, they say it just works.
Oh
So,
yeah, he did say that. I found that I didn't think of that as being a very significant thing that I should latch on to.
Well, now you should.
Anyway, is there anything else we can say about gameplay? This is like the main part of this game.
Are the bosses?
I didn't play all of them, so.
Yeah, throughout the game you get a whole lot of different weapons. It's important to note it's not like one weapon that gets upgraded. You actually get like a
Although,
bunch of unique
Honestly,
weapons.
most of them are ass.
The
The main one's good for DPS. The laser one's good when you don't want to think.
The main one is kills my hands.
Then there's one you get later that like phases through, that like pierces, goes through enemies. That one's good. Reflector sucks. What are you talking about?
I just got it.
Oh, well, don't count on using it.
Yeah, there's also some other items you get like a drill and
Yeah, you use it to drill through walls.
Pierce the
Nice.
heavens.
Oh yeah, you do have a drill.
Yeah.
well,
God,
the
comes
drill
with-
just kind of seems like it's kind of just wedged in there. Could have just as easily just been a gun. But
Nah.
it's cool. It's cool.
I mean, it basically is a gun. Just
Yeah.
on a different button.
And it is nice having it on a different button. I'll admit. I wish you could put guns on different buttons. I understand that doesn't make any sense, but like, it would have been cool to be able to just like instantly switch between guns.
Oh yeah, it might be a little condescending, but found it weird that you don't lose your progress when you die.
Oh.
On hard mode, on normal mode, fine. On hard mode, like, yeah, the only
Don't lose your
progress,
progress.
No.
the only
Like
progress
you go back to your save point, but all the map places you've been since you went to the save point and all the items you picked up, you keep.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds good.
that sounds. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
yeah, I'm
That's
actually in
a
favor
thing.
of it.
Like, who wants to
Oh,
explore the
I-
same spot twice?
I didn't care about dying. I was like, oh, I'm about to die. Oh well.
The game is about exploration.
Well, yeah, if the game's not about combat, who cares if you die?
Yeah.
You lose a small amount of time.
Well, the exploration was kind of.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem I have with most Metroidvanias. They're supposed to be about exploration, but the exploration isn't that interesting to me.
I think the best part of the game for me were the bosses. Wow.
I
I mean,
talk
the
about
first two, I literally don't even remember the first two.
The first boss is the only one I fought, and I
I
barely
actually
remember
don't
it.
remember what it is.
I actually did it 2 days ago, and I can barely remember any.
Because the third one is the one where like actually start. You actually gotta like try. That's when I started remembering. It's like this big thing that has two things at the
This
bottom that shoot bombs
big
and 5
thing.
things that shoot late. I don't know. It's a
I
monster
remember
looking
that
thing. I
one.
don't know how
It
to
was a big
describe it.
one.
But they don't have names.
The other ones look like bugs, so I can like say like horned scorpion. This thing literally just looks like a blob. Okay.
Like from the Stranger Things trailer.
Sure.
I mean, the first boss just kind of looks like a shell thing.
I didn't
I,
remember.
I still don't remember.
I'm like remembering some vague. I wonder if I can find it in any of these screenshots that are chilling out here. Let's bring up Action Verge first boss. There it is. Yeah, it's just like this like thing
Yeah.
with some armor on it. Looks like a helmet with a gun.
Oh yeah, that was a boss.
I mean, it's.
I just kind of shot at it and it died.
I died to it many times,
Same.
but I suck ass. So
Yeah, I'm not the best at this game. So
Well, and I didn't want to like mash the fucking fire button.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
You gotta do that.
Yeah, that's shit.
Can we move on to like sound and music?
I mean, my opinion on anything else. The graphics are eh. The music is eh.
It's pixel art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
like
even
music.
even
No.
for pixel art, I don't like the
The
aesthetic.
music was pretty dry. It wasn't like bad. It's just
Yeah, pixel art's hard to do right.
Yeah, like honestly, like the like thing they show on like the cover and stuff of the game with like that big head thing and stuff, it looks so awesome. And then just in game, it's just so
Not.
bleh. Yeah, I don't know.
It's fine.
yeah, fine. That's about it.
It's
The music worked, I guess.
they I don't know. I felt like they tried too hard to just make it look like a SNES game. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't look like modern pixel art.
You gotta make them think it
Play
looks like a SNES
Crosscode
game, but
instead.
it actually doesn't.
Yeah, if you told me this game came out for the like PlayStation 1, I'd probably believe you.
It is in that style.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Mega Man X series.
Yeah, see, Steve knows referencing Fallout 76.
Yeah,
It was a JoJo
that's
reference.
like that's an apple. It's been done many times. It's a
The
meme
correct
in
answer is
multiple
Todd
different.
Howard.
It's a meme in multiple contexts. All right.
I have a complaint about the drone. You
What
should-
about it? The drones? Oh, you don't have the thing. Never mind.
Oh, there's a thing. Is there an item that you can use to like switch places with the drone?
What drone?
You teleport to it.
Can you
You
explain?
can.
Yeah, it's pretty-
What's this drone?
You shoot out a drone. It's so you can go in one gap crevices
Yeah, you know the
or one block crevices, I should say.
you know when you curl up into a ball in Metroid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
Well, like, why do you have to
But you literally shoot out a
You have
drone.
to shoot.
and
Yeah, you have to shoot out a drone.
Oh.
and it has its own health bar.
Yeah, this game takes a lot of references from Metroid. 'Cause there's a grapple hook and there's that.
That drone thing's kind of neat. I can dig it.
It's the catch that it's weak. So like,
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get hit.
what other things have I not done this game?
Do you want to know all the powers?
I mean, I don't really care about that.
I mean, you eventually can teleport,
That's cool.
so that's your movement option.
How long is it until I get that?
I don't remember.
Is that like, did you? Yeah, I remember like some, you know.
I don't have the chronological order of when I got things in rumor. Besides like the last thing.
Oh.
Hey, there's a world map.
I mean, yeah, teleport was a decent option in the last few bosses. If you need to like move fast.
No, this game actually isn't all that large.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
the map's not that big.
Like, I explored a bigger percentage of the map than I would have expected, given the short amount of time I played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still like, you know, like maybe a sixth of the map at most, but still. That's kind of nice, actually, because sometimes the number of paths available was a little bit overwhelming, because it's like, I gotta remember all this crap, because I can't mark my map for more than 2 places. Which, it wasn't a big problem in the early game, because I was restricted enough, but I could see that becoming a problem as the game opened up more. So what else you want to talk about here, Julian? Soundtrack, I know you mentioned.
It's fine.
I can't remember a single track. I'm trying to remember tracks and I'm just thinking of Metroid songs.
I don't even remember back there being background music.
That was the music.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there was. I just can't. I couldn't tell you a note.
Yeah, see, I actually.
There's probably a C in there or something.
I just cannot remember.
Dun, 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 dun.
You're not helping.
Beautiful. That sounds like one of a kind. Memorable soundtrack.
I really didn't like the final boss.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I did anything. I just felt like I had more health than him, so I won.
It's a
Yeah,
final
from
boss.
all these screenshots I'm seeing, it looks like you end up with like a ton of health as this game
I
goes
either
on.
had 9 or 10 blocks.
That's crazy. I felt like at the start of the game I had literally like no health. I get hit like 3 times and I die.
Well, because the issue with the final boss is that the target you have to hit is in the ceiling. And so, the only way you're realistically going to do that is if you stand right below it and shoot straight up, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so to do that, you're going to be standing still most of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine having 3 floating things shooting lasers at you while you're trying to do this.
Yeah, I can see that being.
And when you
annoying.
kill them, they just respawn.
Oh, it's one of those.
And it's not like you can kill 2 and cheese it so they don't respawn until you kill. No, they just respawn when you kill.
Ugh.
But the lasers you can just duck and then they won't hit you. But then phase 2, it starts doing little spread shots, and those I actually couldn't figure out how to dodge. So that one I just took hits until it jumped to phase 3. And then phase 3 it shoots a big shot, but you can duck under those too. So I just ducked again. Yeah. And that was that.
Sounds kind of lame.
So the final
That's
boss
my thing about movement options.
Yeah, yeah. I like movement options in games.
But that might just be me. That might not be the game.
I mean, I think for the majority of the game, you just kind of like walk. So teleporters should come soon.
I mean, it's not like that good for traveling. It's more for dodging and going through walls. Doesn't go that far.
So it's not like a fast travel mechanic.
No, it's like a dash, basically.
Oh yeah, there like basically is no fast travel. Like there's like a teleporter, kind of.
Not really. It's
Yeah.
the big light blue line in the middle of the map is how you travel between areas.
Yeah.
Is it like
There's a
quick-
giant head, and you stand on it, and it will move across the line. And then the
Quickly?
little pieces. Yes,
Okay.
quickly enough. Map's not that big. And then the little pieces connecting to each other piece is you just go to those.
That is about as basic as it gets.
Yeah, but like in like other Metroidvanias I played, like Samus Returns, there are like warp points around the map you can just like use and just go to any area you want. Kind of
Yeah.
tedious to go to this one point, one place, and then just, you know, that's your teleporter, whatever you want to call it, you know.
Yeah.
Usually you just teleport between save points in some games.
Yeah.
But there are a decent amount of them in this game, so.
Yeah.
My inner Mark Brown is telling me that instead of this central corridor, all the places should have just been more interconnected. So there's like multiple ways to get to each place, like from each place, you know. Just have
I
it
don't
more
think that's a-
interconnected.
I mean,
I guess.
there are multiple places. They're just close together. Like you see on the right, the
Yeah.
purple, light blue, and whatever color that is. They all connect to the pink on
Yeah.
the right.
I mean, honestly, I'd be fine with teleporters too. It's just like things like this. There's like all this big area in the middle and this head that carries you from one spot to another or whatever. It's just like one of those like I mean I don't want to say immersion breaking. It's a 2D game, but like it kind of goes against the whole world building. This like twisted corridor of things, and it's like oh, but here's a convenient way to travel between them all. That is built in here for some reason.
But like, it's annoying having to travel like that.
Yeah, so just put in teleporters or have them more interleaved with one another to make sure that no travel is too long. So
But yeah,
so
I guess I'm just not into this genre.
that's my feeling. 2 for me.
'Cause
I mean, I
this
know I
game
didn't
was
play
just
through much of
whatever.
this one, but
It wasn't like bad or anything. It was fine. That's it.
I
It was
feel that
fine.
way too.
Lavender
man. I
Town
feel
music
like-
is flames, by the way.
I agree.
Say that one more time?
Lavender Town is flames.
Oh yeah,
Isn't that the
Okay.
horrifying one?
yeah.
Like burn your house down flames?
No, it's a quality song. Haters need to stop hate.
No one hates that.
So anything else you guys wanted to talk about for Axiom Verge?
Is there anything else like gameplay, sound, art? Oh, I forgot. There's a secret where you can get into in Axiom Verge. That this is really cool. That it makes the screen all like staticky. Because like this theme with the game where like the enemies get like glitched out, and it's like it's just it has like a glitch theme to it. You can like glitch through walls, and if you like decode the enemies, they start becoming like glitchy and stuff. I thought that was a cool part of the game. And there's a secret room where like you go into it and like the screen becomes like staticky and stuff.
That's cool. I never got
Yeah.
to see any of that.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool from like a presentation point. You know, the whole glitch thing.
I like it when games do stuff like that.
And the more I look at images of this game, I really don't like the art style.
Alright, so final scores? Put a number to that?
Oh, but you like
I like the way
Link's
the bosses
Awakening.
look, though. Actually, the bosses look pretty neat.
Yeah,
Sorry, Lauren, what'd you say?
final.
you like Link's Awakening?
Link's. What? That's like. It's not even a. It's a different.
Nah,
It's not even
I'll take
comparable.
Axiom Verge over that.
It doesn't
That's
even make
cool.
sense as a comparison.
Yeah, it does.
No, it
I mean,
doesn't.
that game looks good. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Also, I didn't even defend the art style when I first saw it.
I defended it.
I think it looks weird, but like it's good.
It fits the tone of the game.
I think it fits the tone of the game, and
Nah.
like the only thing I'm not in love with is Link's model. Everything else looks fine. Fishing Planet or
Planet?
Booting
What the
Call
hell?
or Booty Call?
We're
What's
not playing that.
Fishing
Never even heard
Planet?
of this
No. We should play Fishing Planet.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either, but if it's a fishing game, I'm down.
You should play
Just
Warframe
play
then.
Sonic Adventure 1.
Nah, Warframe has good fishing. You could just take a spear and throw it at metal.
Yeah, it's literally a fishing game. We should fucking play it.
That minigame, like, terrible, bro.
It's not a mini game. It's part of the game.
Big the Cats campaign. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty awful. You go around fishing for a god freaking frog.
You'll learn more about it next week.
Oh, yeah, right, you're
Oh,
right.
cool.
No, we're not playing Ninja Girls. No.
What is that?
Okay, what? How is even?
Mo Ninja Girls. Fishing Planet came out in 2015. Oh, it's free!
Oh,
Oh,
it looks
it's
like we're
free.
playing it.
It's
It's on
free to
Netflix.
play, yeah. The DLC is, will cost you some money, but...
So with Axiom Verge, I feel like this might just be me just being sucking, but I feel like I get like I don't know, like lost more in this game. I don't know what to do after I get a power up. You know what I mean?
I mean, for the most part, I just look at the map and see where there's gaps and go there,
Yeah,
and that usually worked, except for when it didn't.
yeah, I have the same issue.
I've always had
You
that
do it?
feeling in Metroidvania games that, like, the exploration is more just like... You're not exploring because you want to, you're exploring because you have to. And by exploring, I mean trial and error, go to every room.
Yeah,
Not like, ooh, I see something over there in the distance. Let me make my way to that. That looks exciting.
No, you just
You
check
can-
the map and see where the outline isn't completed, and you go there.
What exploration?
Am I the only
Yeah.
one who likes Metroidvanians?
I think you are.
I,
Well, and Mauricio.
I'm like 50-50 on him. Like I really liked Hollow Knight until it decided, you know what, you have a new ability. Guess where you're going? Cause I don't fucking know. Oh, you went to this area where we were like, oh, you weren't supposed to come here yet. You didn't get both the powers you need. Come back and do it all again later.
The
Ha,
Fishing
ha,
Club
ha.
3. I like all these fishing games. I agree, Grizzly Steve. We should do a fishing game for our next.
I mean, I'm not against that. We should do Warframe. Everyone. Yeah.
We haven't done a sports game yet.
That's
Let's.
true. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic
Mario
Games.
Strikers. Charge.
Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympic Games for the Wii U is our next game. So tune in next
I'm
month.
not buying that. I refuse.
Emulate it's fine.
Whoa! Whoa!
There is
Yes.
a Wii U emulator, yeah.
There's been a Wii U emulator since like it came out.
Yep. Alright. Throw out your number scores.
What did I give AM2R?
What did you give AM2R? I don't know.
We should really write these down.
Because that's important.
No, it should be no context. What's your,
My scale has to be good.
I mean, based on a scale of all games you've ever played. Where does this rank out of 10? Or out of
Whatever
5?
I gave AM2R minus 0.1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure you gave AM2R a 6. So 5.9
6?
out of 10.
I gave it that low.
I thought that you did.
Thought I gave it like a 6. I think I gave it a 6.9, and I was like, wait, that's a meme, and said 6.8. I think that's what happened.
I don't
That actually sounds familiar. Yeah, I think you're right.
6.7.
It's either a 6.7 or you or you went up to 7 and now it's 6.9. One of those.
We did.
6.7.
We did record this.
Yeah, it's impossible to find.
Not really.
So,
We'll look for the AM2R episode.
all right, Julian.
Actually, did I like AM2R better?
Even though you
You
haven't,
what?
even though you haven't finished the game, what's your rating out of 10? Assuming the game just ended, and you know,
That'd be pretty bad.
I yeah.
I liked AM2R more than this. So,
He doesn't even know like why he's there.
AM2R
Yeah.
certainly looked way better.
Yeah.
right now, I'd say like a 5 or 6. Maybe a 5, because I only like being stuck in games. Might just be me sucking.
Well, that's just unfair.
Yeah. Fine, a 6.
All right, a 6. And I'll go ahead and give it a solid 9.9 out of 10.
Wow.
It's
I guess
a
I'll go
step
ahead.
below perfection.
I'll go ahead and give it a corn dog.
I'm kidding though. I would probably give it, based on fighting one boss, a completely unfair perspective of the game. I'll give it a 4.3.
Actually, no, I might raise my score because I like the ball. I give it like a 7. 7 or 8.
Oh damn, 8.
Hey, it's
Well, you went from 5 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened?
So, I don't know. I like the game.
did you just like hit your head?
Maybe.
Change your mind?
I'm fickle.
Hello?
I like the bosses. I like the sound. The weapons are cool. There's a lot of bad things about it. It's just me sucking, and I feel like I shouldn't.
I mean,
Aha!
there aren't really bad things about it. It's just there aren't that many good things about it either. It's just I.
Dang. Well, the last little thing we'll say about Axiom Verge here is Axiom Verge has been attempting to release a Wii U physical copy of the game, and it is now finally launching.
Oh, Wii U.
Doesn't that a net negative? Or
They-
isn't that a net negative?
They originally digitally released it to the Wii U in 2016, but they were having trouble getting the physical launch off the ground.
How many copies are they gonna sell?
The
But
Wii-
now-
I'm so confused.
Well, wait. Just let me. The Wii U, not the Switch.
Yeah, the Wii U.
The Wii U.
What? When did this
a
come out?
physical copy.
When did the physical copies come out?
The physical copy for the Wii U,
Never.
yeah, it will be coming out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it was originally supposed to come out in Q2 2017. Got delayed to January of 2018, and there was another delay from Nintendo. And now that March 2018, they still haven't quite figured it out, but it's should be coming.
I think it's time to can this one. How many do they have, like pre-orders coming in or something?
I
See.
I don't know.
How does this make money?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably a lot of sunk costs there.
So
It was originally released digitally. I don't know.
yeah. I don't think they actually have a release date nailed down. There's a big controversy with them and the publisher, and like them going silent, and the company, one of the publishing companies, like going under, and then like they owe the Axiom Verge developers a bunch of money, and there's a lawsuit. And
Jeez, you think Nintendo would be
yeah,
like,
okay,
oh
I
yeah, we
see.
kind of held you up for a bit. Why don't you go on our new console instead?
yep. So,
Better for both
but
of
apparently
us.
they're still pushing for that Wii U physical release. So
Well, that
It's a matter
box
of
art's
princi-
cool.
It's a matter of principle, and I respect it.
yeah, that box art is cool. It's not at all representative of the game.
I already own the game on PC, so I'm not helping support them anymore. But like,
All right, hey, going into our
downright commendable.
our funny news topics of the week. This first one is just kind of a funny
That wasn't
clip
fun.
that happened. Yeah, that was part of the transitionary funny news topic. This next one was
You're a real
EE.
funny
This
guy.
is really Smash specific, but our boy EE was streaming, and I'm just gonna play this clip and just let it play out. There's just silence from.
That's two, okay?
Give me 1 second to get on there.
No,
All right,
Okay,
I gotta.
play it.
All right, here we go.
listen, I can cook in the kitchen and I can eat some ass too, okay? Yo, what's up? I'm streaming. Oh, okay. See you. You couldn't have freaking texted me or something. I'm freaking streaming. You come to...
So yeah, basically his mom was visiting and yelled at him for called him out for saying that he could eat ass.
Oh man, did you see him jump?
Oh, that is definitely excellent.
What makes it worse is that I found this out because Keemstar put this on Twitter.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate
Hey,
that Keemstar is on your team.
I'll take the publicity where I can get it.
Though Etika is the first comment on here.
Yeah. You never heard you wilding out before? I believe that's what he said.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta say, like, she never seen him comment.
I guess not.
I mean, and for Smash commentary, he probably doesn't talk about eating ass. So,
Yeah, he doesn't take it that far.
so
He toes the line
yeah.
in a good way.
What your mom do if she hear? Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be pretty sure. I'd have been shook. I understand why he jumped. I'd have been shook.
See, that's funny because I think it would have been not a big deal. Like it would have been like it would have been like a head shake.
Yeah.
It'd be like a head shake and a half from my mom, but like
No.
like
Nah,
like if she heard me saying that. I'm not talking about like if there was like if I was actually talking about eating ass. Just like if I said that like on
I
stream.
don't know. Jake has said some very strange things to my mom, so I think he'd do it.
Excuse me.
You want to elaborate on that?
Hello?
I'd rather not. I want to leave it at that, but this is true. I know, I was with my mom, and this is back in our room with Jake. And I walked into the room, and Jake was talking to Dan about all these horrible things.
Oh shit! I know what you're talking about. Fuck. Alright, we're not gonna talk about that. I actually forgot about that.
Sounds like a story for podcast.
Oh man! Oh, join us on the podcast after dark. We
But
go into
we call it-
Jacob's deepest, darkest secrets. And the last news topic of the week: Snoop Dogg is starting an esports series called the Gangsta Gaming League.
No. No. Why won't this go away?
It, quote, will most definitely allow the use of cannabis.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Finally sprucing it up a bit.
So, the second rapper to get into the gaming game, Snoop Dogg one-upping some guy named Soulja Boy.
Yeah, who?
And
Wow, what about Shaq?
Yeah, Shaq Fu.
Shaq isn't a rapper.
whoa,
Hey,
that's
Shaq has a diamond album.
yeah, that's actually not true.
Or
What?
not diamond, platinum.
What?
Yeah.
Just because he's not black doesn't mean he can't be a rapper.
Yeah, Shaq has a rap album.
Platinum.
He
Yeah.
does?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's platinum.
yeah,
Wait, what?
fraud.
It's dead ass platinum. It's not a joke.
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
yeah.
You know this?
I mean, you have the internet at your disposal. You're using it right now.
Is it good?
I actually have not listened to it. So
Well, if you haven't heard of it, probably not.
He has 4 albums.
yes.
Shaq
Wow,
Fu The
I have
Return.
no idea.
Huh, apparently he took part in the Battlefield 1 celebrity live stream a few years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when he smoked weed live on.
Oh yeah, and and apparently he messed up Terry Crews and Jamie Foxx. And Terry Crews is definitely a gamer, so
Yeah, he plays Overwatch, right?
he plays a lot of stuff. He his son got him into it, and he's like, gaming's the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
Terry Crews is a boss. But yeah, the Gamester Carrying League, founded in partnership with Mary Jane, awesome. will debut with a Madden NFL 19 tournament
It already
featuring
happened.
8 of Snoop's closest gaming friends. Yeah, this is 6 days ago now at this point.
We can watch it, can't we?
Yeah, wow. That's something. So
We should start our
cool.
own gaming.
Yeah, we should compete with Snoop Dogg. We should challenge him and his gaming team to Smash or Rocket League or something.
Settle it and smash.
I'd probably be Snoopy Smash.
That's probably true, but would you be able to beat him in Madden NFL 19?
Nope.
Yeah, let's.
I played
All right,
Madden.
we'll be making a team. So join us next week when we kick Snoop Dogg's ass in every single video game, all of them.
Every single video game.
It's gonna take a while.
So it include Tetris 99 because I'm not very good at that one.
It's fine.
Get
We got Lerone.
Get my boy Lerone to body Snoop Dogg and Tetris 99.
We wouldn't even be able to make that matchup happen.
Yeah, how do you...
No,
I'll figure it out.
yeah, that's true. We'll figure it out. Just go to a region that's devoid of people.
Like Texas.
Yeah,
Why
Texas.
wouldn't I just play like a different Tetris game?
Yeah, we'll do that.
It has to be 99.
Yeah, it has to be 99. That's true. It's
We're going
it's,
through-
it's the
we're
only
going
one
through-
that's like topical enough.
What,
Yeah.
We're doing every iteration.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
every Tetris ever released.
Every
Yeah.
Tetris ever released.
That's a lot.
Okay, see me in the Tetris game marathon.
See me in TI-84 Tetris.
Okay.
See me in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel.
I've actually played TI-84 Tetris.
Shit.
Crap. I played like once. Anyway, guys, that's the podcast for tonight. Shout outs to our sponsors, Mio Suzuki. Again, he's in the